show you where to how to test them, what you need to put it on, and just share it with your neighbors if you don't mind. There's two different places to ohm, and when you're ohming it out, what you're going to ohm out is your element. You take both wires off your element, and you want to ohm it out. It's going to reach between 0.13 and 1.7, somewhere in there. If you get a weird number, or you don't get anything, it's bad, or there's a short. And then you want to ground, go from one screw to ground, and one screw to ground, and make sure it ohms out there too. The one that I use all the time is the one that talks to me. If you're looking at your meter, you turn it one click to the right, you touch the leads together, and it sounds off. So when you're doing your element, you touch both screws together first. Now this one's reading 0.016. I'd take that and leave it alone. Now if I was getting a bad reading, I want to go ahead and go to ground on both screws to make sure it's not grounding itself out internally. Sometimes they'll do that and give you a reading that it's good, but it's actually grounded itself out inside the hot water heater. With your thermostats, if you go one click to your left after off, your meter, that's going to be your voltage. You want to touch the top two right there, top two on your thermostat, and you'll get 240 out of that. If you're not getting 240, go back to your breaker and see what's going on. If you got 240, go to your breaker anyways, turn it off, and then go down to check your element. A lot of these have a reset button on them to tell you that the thermostat tripped. My personal, I don't reset it and go on. I replace the thermostat. 90% of the time, if you reset that within 2 days, you'll be back because there's a problem. There's a reason that it shorted itself out or tripped it. So go ahead and when you do, go ahead and replace it. When you do it, you do upper and lower. And you always want to set your temperatures. I usually try to go 128, 130. Don't go any higher than that because then you get to the point of somebody getting hurt too hot for them. And then this is something that I do. After I get done doing that, I'll throw a tent. I'll say, be careful for the next couple times you get a shower because it's going to be hotter than what they're normal to. If they're used to going in and turning it all the way on, there's a chance to get burned. So just take an extra second, tell them be careful with it. When you bypass the hot water heater, what you want to do is you want to go from your cold into your hot, tie them in together. When you bypass it, you want to completely get rid of your hot water heater. If you got a bad hot water heater, bypass it where you won't even use your cold will be tied into your hot side because sometimes your shut-offs won't shut off correctly. I had one at Reno that I swore was shut off and it was back feeding through the cold side. Even though I had taken it and turned it off, left the hot, plugged this off to where it wasn't going in the hot water heater, it actually back fed and come out the hot side. Yeah, if you get a tenant saying, I don't have hot water in my shower, check other places before you head into your hot water heater. Check, make sure you got it at the kitchen faucet, let that run for a while, your bathroom faucet. Like Wes said, the newer faucets, they have that cartridge in them, and they'll do the same thing as your shower cartridge will. Okay, let's say you walk in, you hear water running, grab your pop-off valve line. Okay, and if it's hot, your pop-off is bypassing. Real simple to change. You shut the water off to them, disconnect your drain, pull your lift lever up to relieve the pressure on it. And as I unscrew it, I always make sure that's up. That way it's not building up any pressure when I go change them out. And then it's like you're doing an element. It's a quick change. It's pull one, put one. Because they'll still burp on you quite a bit. Then I'm going to turn the shut-offs on the other side, on the gate valve. She's come up with a way to take care of them and stuff. Has to tear in the plumbing.
Where the plumbing comes out of the wall, it's real tight to your drywall. You can't, no room to cut it. First one I did, I knocked the drywall out, went to cut it, put me a piece in. These here, you go with Ace Hardware, you screw this top off. It's got that gate valve in it. 9 times out of 10, when you try to turn them back on, they'll snap this little stem right here. But like I say, instead of switching all that out like I did, you can just buy that valve. Even if you have to buy this whole piece, we're looking to see if we can get rebuild kits for these. But if not, they're just $20. Save you a whole lot of time. That just screws back down in there.
Be sure to turn your water off outside.
Yeah, be sure to turn your water off outside. I've got a couple up there and we'll have to go redo where that was broken. You can put this back on, seal it, get that gate valve out. Sometimes they'll come out, sometimes they're real hard. But if something happens up there, they gotta go outside and shut it off. Tenant, of course, tenant don't know. Tenant, a lot of times they gonna shut these off if they're going on their own call. Or try to shut it off and work on anything, they'll have a mess. So, that's pretty simple there. Just something I picked up.
Two areas is done an element. You're gonna do basically the same thing. You're gonna make sure your water's turned off. I always burp mine. I keep mine burped. And then they say it's just gonna be a quick change. Pull the old one out, put the new one in. I'm telling you right now, that old one is gonna fight with you. It's got corrosion built up on it.
Especially if it's curved.
Yeah, you don't know until you pull them out.
Yeah.
Expect a mess, but eliminate your mess by shutting everything off. You using your pop-off valve to relieve the pressure out of it. He has a tool that you can put on it, and it runs out into a 5-gallon bucket. It's like a little funnel for it. He's had great luck with them. To where all you're doing is you got a little bit to clean up instead of a big amount to clean them up. But what you do is you take both screws of it off, both wires off, pull them up to the side, power's off on this and water's off. Unscrew it, and you can feel it'll start going up and down when the screws are out, when it's undone, when it's done, unthreaded. It'll kind of rock a little bit. At that time, you're ready to go ahead and when you pull this, yank on this because it's gonna be hard to get it out. It's out and in, and you start threading it in. As long as you put pressure on this as you're trying to screw it in, it will not leak as bad. If you're sitting there and you're just trying to screw it in but no pressure on it, that O-ring's not doing anything. It won't seal it off. But if you put a little bit of pressure on it as you're trying to screw it in, it'll help eliminate the mess on it too. Anybody got any questions?
Sometimes you change the thermostats. I know you've run into this. The wire's too short. Do you rewire the whole piece, or is it all right? Put a wire nut, an extension wire on it.
I do an extension.
That's what I do. I just want to see
but
what
I
you
make
thought.
sure it's a heavy gauge wire. I don't
Yes.
use
Oh, yeah.
14. I use 12. And sometimes you can grab just the tip of your wire with a pair of channel locks or something, and you can
Stretch
pull
it.
down a little bit. And sometimes you get enough, sometimes you don't. But whatever you do, make sure that you tie them off good, you wire nut them, and you electrical tape them. You want to make sure everything's tied off and taken care of so where there's not going to be a problem later on.